And now we're going to hear from Jesus Arias, who is responsible for membership and business development at the KNX Association. We'll be talking about KNX IoT, expanding business cases and enabling new ones. Jesus, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I will first share with you our newest video about the KNX development landscape. So thank you very much. I hope you liked our newest video. Welcome to my presentation, which is part of the KNX IoT Summit 2022. I would like to give you a tour of our development landscape with the purpose of understanding how it is affected by the newest KNX specifications. Let's step a bit and enjoy the overview. First, we'll look at the KNX development landscape based on the specifications. Then what business opportunities are affected or enabled thanks to those specifications. And finally, what is found in the KNX development platform for KNX members to utilize. So without further ado, KNX development with KNX IoT. Let's start with the statement. KNX IoT specifications have expanded the KNX development landscape, updating existing business cases and even enabling new ones. Well, is that so? If we have a closer look at the KNX IoT specifications, we can realize that they are making the KNX development more accessible. 30 years ago, developing a KNX solution was a very straightforward exercise. You wanted to develop a KNX device, which is, in a simplified way, a combination of a piece of hardware and a piece of software. The hardware implemented a KNX physical layer, twisted pair, and the software consisted of a KNX stack and an application program. Fast forward a bit more than 30 years, and we find a vast development landscape with different physical layers, advanced commissioning tooling, which accepts apps, a standardized API, tooling to access the KNX bus, SDKs, different types of wireless solutions, the most advanced security mechanisms. So what is possible with KNX? Or perhaps the question should be, what is not possible with KNX? So what are the main takeaways about the KNX IoT technology? On the one hand, we have the KNX IoT third-party API server, a standardized API which contains all the information including semantics, from the KNX installation, and which allows software developers to abstract from the KNX specific knowledge. Therefore, it is easier or more mainstream, if you allow me to say, for any software developer to integrate a solution or design one from scratch with KNX. This has endless applications, directions in pretty much any vertical, and opens up KNX to any type of service. On the other hand, we have the KNX Point API, which moves out from KNX specific physical layers and adopts a more widely utilized technical foundation based on IPv6, which impacts on the development cost and lowers the technical barriers. The target of this presentation, simply put, it is to open up your mind about what is possible with KNX by understanding the updates on the development landscape and how those ripple effects impact on the business cases. Consequently, the development platform is growing with new resources. So the content we are going to go through as explained in the introduction. Our first point, how does the KNX development landscape looks like with the addition of KNX IoT? Well, this is our well-known twisted pair radio frequency landscape, which is known already for many years. It consists of devices, system components, and certified system components that can be used for development purposes. Even though this has been in the market for more than 30 years, it's still growing. For example, two very recent additions, the security proxy and the segment coupler. But those are device profiles that are not in our target today. The truth is, KNX has been on the IP side already for many years. Although KNX was initiated by companies in the electrical manufacturing, the popular standard protocol did not escape the digitalization of our world. And IP became an important backbone of the technology. Therefore, many companies in the software industry have been joining the KNX Association to create software solutions that are combined with KNX installations. Furthermore, there is also KNX hardware using IP as a communication medium. The KNX Net IP has been the main building brick for this purpose. And here we are with KNX IoT. Let me summarize this new part of the development landscape. The KNX IoT third-party API server, which main highlight is the standardized API approach. Before KNX IoT, servers that had connectivity with KNX installation offer proprietary solutions to build software clients, hence locking the software developer with one specific brand. One of the core values of the KNX technology is the standardization. Hence, a standard API approach has been created. Following this philosophy, the KNX IoT third-party API server has been added to the KNX specifications. This server creates an abstraction layer between the KNX specific knowledge and the software developer, facilitating the task of developing software applications that can harness the data produced by KNX installations, among other advantages. The specifications describe the security between the server and the client, which is based on OAuth 2.0. Even more importantly, the specifications describe the semantic layer that is added to the KNX information model, thus creating a rich set of data with great value. The semantic information is found at KNX device level, and it is carried through the system integration chain to the KNX IoT third-party API server, together with the information which is generated when designing the KNX installation with ETS. Lastly, the KNX IoT third-party API server can have a direct connection to the twisted pair medium or sit on the IP infrastructure, either the local area network or the wide area network. A very practical advantage of KNX IoT, the software developer does not need to track the changes in the project scheme when they happen because of a new version of ETS, thanks to the mentioned abstraction. On the other hand, refers to the KNX IoT Point API device, which is a KNX device that uses an IPv6-based physical layer, thread network. In a nutshell, it is the same concept of interoperability as it is found with twisted pair and radio frequency. But in this case, the lower layers of the protocol stack are not KNX specific. Instead, a mesh network approach is used, thus being capable of using elements of that network, such as border routers. It is then compulsory having middleware between the KNX IoT Point API devices and the rest of KNX devices. Otherwise, the philosophy of interoperability at application level, as we know, and the vendor-independent approach remain. So this is the full overview of our beautiful, comprehensive KNX development landscape. And if you allow me, I will highlight the following. We cannot stress enough the importance of taking recourse to the security mechanisms as described in the KNX specifications, since cybersecurity is challenging any industry, and we cannot think of new devices shipped without any form of security or new solutions created without the latest security mechanisms. And thankfully, KNX offers the best in the market. All right, now we saw how the KNX development landscape has been expanded with KNX IoT. What business cases have been expanded or created thanks to the KNX IoT specifications? Well, KNX certified devices ensure interoperability at application level, constituting the main building brick to create a KNX installation. The devices are application-driven, so they are designed to cover a specific need in the home and building automation infrastructure and can use any of the described physical layers in the approved specifications. As we know, KNX twisted pair and radio frequency, as well IP over Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and thanks to KNX IoT, IP using thread as a network layer. As well, KNX certified system components are used by KNX members to fast-track the development of KNX certified devices. There are already a number of categories where these certified system components are categorized. Thanks to KNX IoT, we have now a new category, certified system components for KNX Point API. What about software applications? KNX networks run without the need of centralized software or hardware. This infrastructure layer constitutes the perfect foundation to create higher layers of data management and other applications, like, for example, building management systems. There are three main approaches to develop software applications for KNX installations. First, Falcon-based applications, which are developed using the Falcon.NET SDK, and that require the existence of KNX IP interface or router in the installation. Falcon runs on Windows machines. We can also use KNX NetIP-based applications, which are developed using a KNX NetIP stack, and that require the existence of a KNX IP interface or router as well in the installation. Now, thanks to KNX IoT, we find KNX IoT third-party API clients. which require the existence of a KNX IoT third-party API server in the installation. Middleware, yes, as I said already when introducing the development landscape, with the appearance of the KNX IoT specifications, there is now a new business case. Firstly, the KNX IoT third-party API server. With the scope of supporting application clients, it creates an abstraction layer between the KNX installation and the software development. It gathers all the information from the KNX installation, including semantics, which is made available via standardized API. We can also find KNX IoT Point API gateways. This gateway makes possible that KNX classic installations communicating thanks to twisted pair or radio frequency can be integrated with KNX Point API based devices because they use a different network layer. Due to the vast possibilities found in the KNX development landscape, and thanks to the existing portfolio of certified devices, many of which are also offered as OEM, KNX becomes the perfect technology to create vertical solutions, using KNX IoT as the foundation for such solutions. Many companies that specialize in specific niche, like for instance, space management, find in KNX the perfect combination to offer holistic solutions. Some potential combinations, a company can offer an application plus the KNX IoT third-party API server plus the set of devices, either own or OEM, in order to offer a full vertical solution. We can think of space management that requires the KNX presence detectors. Another approach is without offering any specific KNX device. Instead, the company offers an application plus the KNX IoT third-party API server. It could be a digital twin software. In this case, the vertical solution relies on any KNX device from the list of more than 8,000 certified devices. And services, KNX installations are the perfect environment for data mining. With the standard approach, data points are part of the KNX specifications. Service providers can rest assured that KNX is the perfect technology to build services across any application. Not to mention the backwards compatibility with installations being handed over more than 30 years ago, which remain fully operational today. And the worldwide presence backed by the best hardware manufacturers globally, any service can be offered with KNX. Some examples: energy management, elderly care, or hospitality management. So how is the KNX development platform looking thanks to KNX IoT? Well, for every business case, we make available a list of items to help companies with the development profile, development options, resources, tools, procedures, processes, and the development approach that suits the company best. Based on the selected business case, you can find the specific guidance to initiate your research and development. With KNX IoT, we have created two new important resources. A placeholder on GitLab with specific information, resources, and tooling about KNX IoT third-party API development. For the time being, it will be expanded with KNX Point API. For example, you can find a specific ETS app to simulate the flow of semantic information between the ETS and the third-party API server, or a demo of the third-party API server as well that you can run on a Raspberry Pi. Also, a new playlist with video tutorials on YouTube about KNX IoT development. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope this presentation helped to understand how the KNX development landscape has been expanded with KNX IoT, how the business cases have been positively impacted, and how to take advantage of the new resources in the development platform. And for any question, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Wow, thank you, Jesus. In your presentation, you talked about a ripple effect. It actually seems more like a tsunami.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
these opportunities are different depending upon which part of the business you're in. Now, are some of these opportunities coming first, or do they all emerge simultaneously?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, the KNX IoT specifications were released last year, but that is just the first step. Then now the tooling has to follow. Like for instance, the manufacturer tool, the EITT, or the ETS software, they need to allocate those novelties. Like for example, to develop a KNX Point API device, you will need an updated interworking test tool that can perform a testing for that new type of device. So those test specifications are being written and created. From the development point of view, the KNX IoT third-party API is already available, which means that our members can develop KNX IoT third-party API servers. We expect the testing to be ready very soon. Likewise, the software clients that work with KNX IoT third-party API servers can be developed. Although we will need to wait a little to see the full potential of semantics in the whole chain of value of system integration from the KNX device to the KNX IoT third-party API server. As for KNX Point API, we will see the first certified system components this year, which are the foundation to develop a KNX Point API device.
Okay, great. And for every business case, you're making available a list of resources. Where can we find that specific guidance?
Well, to make things easier, we are working on a new training which will condense all this information in one single point at the KNX development platform, and which will be also released this year. For the time being, I gladly offer that guidance to any company, KNX member or not, interested in developing KNX solutions.
Okay, so they can come to you for help, which is
always
wonderful. Great. And with KNX IoT, you've created two new resources that we should mention here. One is a new playlist with video tutorials on YouTube. And also on GitLab, you have a placeholder, and GitHub is definitely a place for third-party developers. But what topics do your video tutorials cover? What can we find there?
Yes, they complement the information found on GitLab. The video tutorials offer hands-on information how to use some of the most important resources found on GitLab. Like my colleague Roberto Davico explains step by step how to set up a Raspberry Pi to host the KNX IoT third-party API server proof of concept, for example. And that's a very important building brick for companies to do research and development.
All right. Well, Jesus, I want to thank you for helping us understand how KNX IoT expands business cases and creates new ones. But before I leave, I want to thank you very much for mentioning security and highlighting it. It's such an important topic. Whenever you talk about connectivity, there's always security that comes to the forefront, and everybody has to pay more attention to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jesus.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.